Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Bizzy. I hope you enjoyed today's story. And if you do, please subscribe. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Bizzy. It's Bizzy. How are you? Okay, you guys, it is 20 of 11 on Wednesday. I normally drop these the night before, but I've been so busy that I haven't had a chance to record yesterday. So I am here today. So it's pretty much not live, but I'm recording this the same day I'm dropping it. So happy Wednesday afternoon. It's probably afternoon by the time you're listening to it, or morning if you're on the West Coast. It's episode 538, which I can't even believe. And my topic today is gaslighting, honesty, and living authentically. It has been brought to my attention in the past couple of years, this term gaslighting, which I have to tell you, I had no idea what it was. Someone close to me said, "You're gaslighting me." And I was like, "What is that? Gaslighting?" I thought that was like an old term from the olden days of like, "Oh, are you lighting a gas light outside? Like, what is gaslighting?" And I'm like, I had no idea. And now today, I understand it a little bit more, but I'm going to go back again to a little bit more of what it was like before for me. So gaslighting would be, I remember being a little kid and seeing something that I knew intuitively inside of me what it was, right? I knew what it was that I was looking at. I would say, by the way, hold on, I'm doing one thing with this camera. I would think to myself, I would know something. Okay. So I'd say, okay, that is a purple flower. And somebody in my family would say, "No, it's not." My mom or somebody, "No, that's not. You're not seeing that correctly." I'm like, "Yes, it is." Especially when you see somebody doing something that you inside of yourself, me, I'm going to say me. If I saw something that somebody was doing that was wrong, I'd bring it to my mother's attention. And instead of acknowledging me and saying, "Oh my gosh, I agree, Elizabeth, I see what you're talking about," they'd say, "Shut up. That's not what you see." And you'd be like, "Yes, it is." And she'd be like, "No." And I remember being a little kid being so upset by the fact that my mom didn't believe what I was saying that I would stomp my feet on the ground. I remember even going to the point that I would be in my bedroom and just be on the floor and just banging my head against the wall going, "Oh my God, I know what I just saw was A. And she's telling me, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's B." Like this whole thing. Fast forward to today, and that term of what was being done to me actually has a word and it has a definition, and it's called gaslighting. Gaslighting is when someone tries to make you question your own reality. It's emotional manipulation and it's dangerous. I'm saying to you that I literally was banging my head against the wall. I remember being a little kid, like literally going, "Oh my God, I know I'm seeing A. She's telling me it's not true," making me feel like I'm freaking crazy. I knew what I was seeing was one thing. And literally being poo-pooed. "No, that's not true." And it can be dangerous. I can't believe I didn't hurt myself. I don't realize that I did this to somebody in my family, and I feel terrible that this person thinks that I did, and I can apologize every way to Sunday, but until the person wants to accept my apologies, I can't make them accept it. But it's dangerous to do that to somebody, especially somebody who is in formative years and then as adults. It can really change the trajectory of your life, right? So for me personally, I believe that when this happened when I was little, this gaslighting thing, like I remember still to this day, and I don't remember a lot of my childhood. That's why I have my best friend around, because I always call her and I'm like, "Did this happen? Did this happen?" And she always remembers. I don't know how she has such great memory, but she does. And knowing that it was, for me, it was so detrimental. And for another thing that I have to acknowledge is that I am strong for whatever reason. I'm going to say it's God. God, my guardian angels, Mary, Joseph, that whole crew, we're going to say in heaven, has had me. My angels have had me because I went from so long being like, I see one thing and being told I don't see it. And I said, after a while, I was like, I lost respect for my parents, right? I was like, whatever, you do you, but I know you're full of shit. I know you're full of shit. So I went and I drank though. I drank at it because I knew what I saw was right. And somebody said, no, it wasn't. And so I drank at it. Give me another drink. Give me another drink. Give me another drink. F you. I know what I saw was true and you're not going to respect me. And then I was weaponized. It was used as a weapon when I was older because my mom then said, well, I'm going to, left me at home alone with my dad when I was very young. My parents had a tumultuous divorce and my mom left me with my dad. I was a freshman in high school and she left and went to Philadelphia and left me at home in St. Louis. I had no idea the podcast was going to go like this, you guys. I can't believe this. But anyway, this is meant to be. This is how we all know I don't really have a script. I mean, I try to get a script, but I can't follow it. But anyway, back to the story. So when I was in high school, my mom left me over Christmas. I had been at school trying out for a play because you can tell by my personality, I've always wanted to be kind of famous and I've always wanted to be on stage. I've always wanted that. I've always wanted it since I was a little girl. I've always loved interviewing people. I've always loved asking questions. That's always been me. I've always been inquisitive. I've always had a good sense of what's right and what's wrong. I've always known when I've not been good. I've always known when I've been bad. I've always been able to call people out when I don't agree with what they're doing. I know it's judgmental of me in a lot of ways, but it is who I am. So I have to accept it. It's acceptance of who I am. But back to the story. So I was trying out for a play at Leggio High School in St. Louis, Missouri. And I'm trying out for the play. And I call home. There's no cell phones. This is in 1980. Wait, let's see. I graduated in 87. So what was it? 84, 83. So I call home and my dad answers the phone and I'm like, why are you answering the phone? He's like, because your mom has left. And I'm like, what? It's Christmas. Where did she go? She took my siblings, my two sisters and my brother, and went to Philadelphia for the holidays. And my mother said to me my entire life, the reason I did that was because you wanted to be with your friends more than you wanted to be with me. Now I can imagine that back in those days, it was a lot for my mom to have to deal with me. Again, very opinionated, knew what I wanted. I was not easy to put into a box. I've never fit into a box. I think if I were to go back now, I could say maybe I have ADD. I think maybe everybody has ADD in this world, but I probably had ADD. And I was a pain in the ass. And I had my friends and I wanted to be with my friends. That was my thing. I wanted to be with my friends. I did not want to be with my family. I wanted to be with my friends. I don't know how weird that is given the fact my kids always wanted to be with their friends. They did not want to be with me. They still are like that. And I don't know, my mom said, well, I'm leaving. And so for Christmas, I was with my dad by myself and all my siblings were with my mom in Philadelphia. And wow. And my entire life until my mother's death, it was my fault she left me because I wanted to stay with my friends and I didn't want to go to a place with relatives on the East Coast in a car with my mom and my siblings driving across the country. I just didn't want to do that. I don't even think it was offered to me, to be honest. And it wasn't. And I just came home and she went and I was there. And that was the beginning of pretty much the end of my parents' marriage. So I think back to those times of being gaslit and saying, Elizabeth, no, you didn't want to come. You didn't want to come. So we didn't bring you. You wanted to be with your friends. You wanted to party. And now looking back, I can't be mad. I'm not mad at my mom. I'm not mad at my dad. I'm not mad at anybody about it anymore. It is what it is because everything happens for a reason and everything brought me to where I am today. And I had my angels with me. And then I drank for a really long time because again, the feelings of being rejected and all the rest of it that I don't need to go into on this. But, all those feelings I had as a child of not wanting, not being, and I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. Please do not feel sorry for me. It's what I went through. But knowing that's what I went through and being gaslit about it for my whole entire life was again another reason for me to go, let me pick up a drink because I don't want to have these feelings. Feelings may not be facts, but for me, they were strong feelings. And so hence I went and I drank over them and it was okay until it was 37 and then I quit drinking and that's where we are today. But shit, that was hard, you guys. It was hard to be like, this was my choice I made at 13, that it was going to affect my entire life. But again, I think that God works in mysterious ways. And I want to give God some credit here because I think that because of that, the trajectory of life was different. I was always strong enough and loud enough. And I was able to take my life and go forward no matter what, even though I had this shame that was put on me as a young age that, oh, you made this choice and that's why we were left alone with your dad. But because of that, that gave me strength to propel myself to keep moving forward and moving forward and moving forward and moving forward and being authentic and telling you guys the truth and not being ashamed by it. It does feel a little uncomfortable, I'm not going to lie, but this is my honesty and this is me living authentically to help another human being that's out there that might be going through this and going, wait a minute, why did I get to where I am? What is inside me that makes me want to be ashamed? I went on yesterday on Instagram and did a little reel, like 2 seconds long. I actually was on Instagram and everywhere you post this crazy stuff. But and I said, I'm 56 now and I'm living authentically. I am who I am. People might say she's loud, she's obnoxious, she's this, she's opinionated, she's judgmental. Well, it's true. It's all true. It's who I am. And being authentically yourself is so hard in this world where we're supposed to look the same way and believe the same things. And if we believe differently, we don't like you. I'll tell you, it was really interesting this past I think it was past weekend, or maybe it was the weekend before. We were walking down the street and I live in a neighborhood which you normally would think would be red because I live in Florida. Florida is not all red, you guys. It is blue too. And there's people that hate Trump that live on my street. And I have a Trump flag that hangs outside of my house. And I have a Trump sticker on my car. And my husband was walking down the street with a shirt that said Trump country. And we ran into one of my neighbors who no longer speaks to me. It's so interesting. I mean, she speaks to me, hi, how are you? Very, surface, because, that's just what it is. And being his authentic, and I walked away and I'm like, are you embarrassed that you have that shirt on? Because, I'm sure was like, oh my God, he's wearing this shirt. And my husband wears this hat that says whatever, he wears Trump hats all the time. And he gets a right to do that because the last I checked, we live in America. And he lives authentically. And because of the way I feel the shame, because this person doesn't want to be my friend, because this is the way we voted and we stand by our, president. And that in turn makes us bad and they don't want to talk to us, but we live authentically. That's who we are. If you don't like it, that's okay. And you get to believe what you believe. And do you need to have shame for who you are? Reading the Bible, which I'm totally behind on because it's been Lent and I've been doing a lot of Lent stuff. But I've been doing Bible in the year and I'm kind of behind because I listen to Jeff Cavins. It's just a lot to listen to in the morning and I have other things to do as well. But, it says in the Bible that God removes our shame right away. And we are the ones as humans that say, no, I'm going to take the shame back. God does, I need to feel shame. And that's not true. You don't need to feel shame. It's up to you to feel the shame. Not for me to, if I want to carry shame, I'm not trusting in God, right? Believing in God is like something that's, was starting to be shamed too. And that's not really okay, I don't think. I think we need to have more God today. Somebody was at my house the other day and we were talking about dark and light. And if you haven't heard me talk about this on my podcast from Medjugorje last year I was in Medjugorje. I think on this day, pretty much, I might have been flying there Might have been the 11th, but we're a days away from when I flew from Miami to Rome, and Rome went over to Split, Croatia, and went on this pilgrimage. And I went to Medjugorje, and I had crystals in my bag. I had been doing yoga. I'd done Kabbalah. I'd done all these things. And I went on this trip and saw things that were like, wow. I saw somebody get possessed in front of me. Like, I think they were completely possessed. Something took over their body, and this voice came out of this person that was not their voice. And I saw darkness in real life, right? I saw darkness come out of another human being and them slither away like a snake. And I was like, holy shit, scared. As you can imagine, I was like, oh my God, this is so scary. And they had been talking about how bad yoga was when I was on this trip. And ever since then, I haven't done yoga. I have no crystals. I called my husband right away and said, get all that stuff out of my house. And, because I was letting in this dark, because I was searching, right? Like, we're all searching for this place that we get to go. I'm authentically me. I'm okay. Am I okay? We're living in a world right now that everything's upside down. Trump's put these tariffs out there. My husband works in the markets. Like, we are, like, lots of stuff that's going on that's kind of scary. And it's fear instead of having faith and knowing that we all know that it's all going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. Every person knows that. God has a plan. We wanted change as Americans. We said, you know what? We're sick of having trillions of dollars in debt. And we're going to go to the polls, and we're going to vote for Donald Trump. And we did, because we wanted to change. We didn't want to be in debt. We wanted jobs in America. I don't want the American people, these towns that I drive through when I drive cross country. I don't want these towns that used to be beautiful with people that worked for the factories and did things for our country to make things that were American made. I don't want that to go away anymore. I want those cities to be revitalized. I want us to have people having jobs so that they feel, as human beings, we need to work. If we don't work, we don't feel okay, right? We need to have a job. We need to feel authentic and good as a man. Like, we need to be hunters and gatherers. Women, I think raising children for me was like my job. It was the hardest job I've ever done in my entire life. And to see that the outcome is that two of the three aren't talking to me right now, it's kind of hard. Am I going to drink over it? No, it is hard. It sucks. I can't do anything about it. I can't go over and shake them and be like, talk to your mother. We don't live in that society anymore. So I have to sit back and just shut my mouth and just be like, all right, they don't want anything to do with me. I got to go do Elizabeth. I've got to go make a life for me. I've got to go not have any shame. I've got to get on this camera. And as much as sometimes I don't want to do it, this is what I do. This is who I've become. This personality that has conversations with Bizzy, which used to be Busy Living Sober, and walk through all these things and feelings of doubt and feelings of, should I be doing this? And have a reminder, like, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I keep going. But where we're living right now, there's fear all around us and darkness all around us. And I was reaching for something that was going to make me feel better. I'm like, yoga's going to make me feel better. Well, now I'm doing Pilates. I don't say different chants that aren't for God. If I'm going to chant, it's going to be like, oh, Jesus, please, I offer myself to you. Let your will be done. Let your will be done. And I have to say that over and over. And some days I have to be, because my first thing is fear. We don't know what's going to happen. That's the truth. We can make a gamble. We can say A, B, and C are going on, and I assume that A, B, and C are going to lead us to D. But guess what? God's in control, not us. Letting go, trusting, as uncomfortable as that is, trusting is what we have to do. Trusting is what we have to do. We have to trust that if we speak our mind and we talk to somebody about what's going on in our heads and how we are fearful, but we have to come together and know as a people, as a community, that we are going to be okay. We might have to pay more for stuff from China, but do we need all that crap from China, you guys? Do we? Do we need to be buying all this stuff? I just watched my dear friend Sue Bell, people keep seeing her. She's a good friend of mine. And I saw her on a reel that was dropped this morning, I think, about addiction. And she's talking about dark chocolate ice cream. And she talks about this hole in the soul. And so many of us have a hole in the soul, right? We all have this hole in our soul. And the darker that we've gotten in society and thinking we need to buy all this stuff and we need to fill this hole with buying stuff or feeding ourselves with sugar or going and sexting or being on social media constantly filling that hole because we don't want to feel the feelings that we're feeling and fill it with God. We can't fill it with God, right? We got to fill it with stuff. We got to fill it with feelings. We got to fill it with like judging others. We think that we watch somebody on social media and we judge that person because we think their life is perfect. You guys, nobody's a perfect life. I always say, look at the Queen of England. Her son was gay. Okay. I mean, was not, he was, excuse me, he wasn't gay. He actually had sex with young women. We all saw that. That's the Queen of England. So her life wasn't perfect. What makes you think you're not going to go through this life, Skeeth? We all got to learn something. And I was talking to somebody actually yesterday about how, some people don't have hard things happen in their lives, at least that we can see. And other people get this tragedy against this tragedy against this tragedy. But I think it's the tragedies that make us stronger. That happening to me, being gaslit from a young age, made me stronger. It made me come to my knees and realize I needed more God. I went to 12 steps. I joined a 12-step community. I did that because I was brought to my knees, because I knew what I was seeing was true. And my family said, no, it's not. And I went, okay. I went and I picked up that drink because my feelings, nobody believes me. Everybody thinks I'm a piece of shit. Oh my God, I'm a loser. My parents left me. Da, 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 da. I could go down the litany of ambulance of my life. Or I could go, oh my gosh, those things happened. Those things happened in my life, which propelled me to the next level, which gave me the courage to go say, I need help, which gave me the courage for somebody to say, start a podcast, even though I didn't know what a podcast was 9.5 years ago when I started this thing, and gave me the courage to go out there and tell my truth on this podcast I started. All of it propelled me to where I am today. God has been with me. My angels have been with me the entire time. And they've been with you too. They've been with you too. How do you live an authentic life if you have a past that you're ashamed of? If you can't get to root of what that is, we all have roots inside of us, right? We've got these feelings that go really deep. It's like pulling a weed in your garden and they go so deep. But if you can't get it all the way out, you're going to have that doubt all the time. Being honest with ourselves is where the key starts. I was lying to myself for a long time to be comfortable. I deserved to be left because I was a piece of shit, because I was selfish and I only wanted to do Elizabeth. I lied to myself because I'm a bad person, that friendships have gone away because I believe a certain way politically, because I'm bad. Bullshit. It's a lie that I've told myself. If we can't be honest to ourselves and we can't be authentic with what we believe and what we know in ourselves to be right or wrong, shame on us. We all need to get to this place where we can be honest, authentic, and know that when we look in the mirror, what's looking back at us is what God made, which is absolutely perfect. We are all perfect in God's eyes. He forgives us. There was this story in this past weekend in the Bible about when Jesus and the troop and his disciples, and then they came in and the woman was there that was the whore, and they were throwing stones at her. And God said, who can throw stones here? Are any of you living in a perfect house? None of us are. That's the big fat lie. We think social media, you put a bunch of makeup on, fill your lips with a bunch of crap, get a bunch of stuff, Botox put on you. You look like you're like you've been through something, like some cartoon character, and you go through it, and you, at the end of the day, you're like, well, I just made myself perfect. I'm going to feel good now. I just did all this stuff, spent all this money making myself look different. It's all good. You do that because society says you're supposed to. It's crazy, right? It's crazy, right? I've done those things at times in my life too. I've had Botox. I've had not much more of that done, but I've had Botox done. I don't do it anymore. I'm trying to embrace myself authentically. I can't stop coloring my hair though. Sorry guys, I can't do that because it would be really white and I don't want to do that yet. But living authentically, gaslighting, realizing that what you've been through, own it. We're in this time of Lent. It's in the time of going to confession. In the 12-step meetings that I go to, we do a 4-step, which we write out where we have resentments, where we have done wrong, and where it's time to get to that place where we get to admit what has happened to us in our past and realize, for me, my parents weren't bad. I guess they were trying to protect me in some way or protect themselves because they were human. I'm not mad about it, but I don't want to live like that anymore. I don't want to feel like I'm gaslighting anybody. I don't want to feel like anybody's gaslighting me. And if they are, I don't want them in my life anymore. It's okay. I've cleaned out a lot of people in my life, you guys. And I was talking to somebody this past weekend, a gentleman who was actually from South Africa. And I was talking to him about friendships. And I was saying, my mom used to say to me all the time, Elizabeth, if you have 5 friends that you love and will go and be there, have your back no matter what. If you have 5 friends, you have a really rich life. And I was like, whatever, Mom. I have so many friends. I have so many more than 5 friends. And guess what? God rest my mom's soul. She was right. She was right 100%. And this guy from South Africa agreed with me. He's like, yeah, 5 friends is a lot, right? I'm like, yeah, it's right. It's not quantity, you guys. It's quality. Back to where we are with what's going on in these tariffs. It's quality stuff. We got to get quality stuff made in America by people that might live in a town over, or a state over, or county over. We want to support our neighbors here as Americans. Be proud of where we're from. Be proud to have an American flag outside of your house. Don't feel bad for who you are and what you're believing. God loves you. I love you and I don't even know you. A lot of you I do know. Thank you, God, because you reach out to me and I'm so grateful for that. And it has been, life is such a journey. And I just want to tell you guys, you're doing a great job. Hang in there. Palm Sunday's coming up. I hope you get to church this Sunday. Get a palm. Go and get an hour of quiet and know that you are not alone and you can do this. Reach out to me. I'm coaching again. If somebody needs a coach or somebody needs a coach, reach out to me. I'm coaching again. I didn't open my doors. I'm not in an office space. I'm doing it in my office from home. But I'm coaching again. So if you need help or somebody else who needs help, please reach out. And know you're not alone. You'll get my newsletter if you go to my website, go to elizabethchance.com, go to the bottom, you will sign up and you'll get my newsletter. It'll come right into your inbox every Friday. And I'll be back next week with another guest on Monday, and you'll get me on Wednesday. And I don't know what time Wednesday you're going to get it. I'm not going to promise it's going to be dropped at 6 a.m. anymore because I've been really busy, but you'll get it on Wednesday at some point. And just know this, you are not alone. Reach out to me with any questions, comments, topics you want me to talk about, things that you are questioning in your own life that you might say, I need to bounce this off to somebody. Let me know. Write to me, Elizabeth@elizabethchance.com. You'll get right into my inbox. And again, thanks for listening. And I will talk to you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye. Thanks for listening to Conversations with Bizzy. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, if you could subscribe, that would mean the world to me. And follow me on all social media. And you can also get my newsletter every Friday morning into your inbox. Just go to elizabethchance.com and subscribe. Take care.